I cannot believe it's been 15 years. That's insane. Time is flying by so quickly I can't believe that I already, at the age of 20, have to prepare a victim impact statement to read to you all. I don't know where to begin, and I'm not sure how to write this. It's all new to me. Right now I'm here to present my life to you. My hard, fatherless life I've lived for the past 15 years.
How you doing?
Before I begin, I want to make it clear that I might be seen as a victim in the eyes of the court, but I do not consider myself a victim. If I were to look everyone in the eye and say that every day I wake up and I cry and feel depressed that my father is gone, I would be lying to you all. Every day, I wake up and I am so thankful to be alive because life is so precious. I'm not a victim, and I will say it again. A victim is a person who suffers from a destructive or injurious action, or a person who is deceived or cheated by his or her own emotions or ignorance, or by the dishonesty of others. And although I wish and pray that my father will come back to my life, I am thankful that I can breathe. I would love to present to you all every instance I've had trouble coping with my father's death, but we would be here for weeks. So instead, I'm going to present a few important stories of how I felt and how it's impacted my life. On July 7th of 1991, my father was suddenly taken away from me. I was only 5 years old. He didn't die in his sleep, or from cancer, but from a horrific and fatal stab wound to the chest. Suddenly, done quickly, without warning, and unexpectedly. I want to emphasize this. Why? Because I never got a chance to say goodbye to him. Would that have been better if I got a chance to? I don't know, but I wish I did. You don't really think a 5-year-old can understand the concept of death, but I did. My mother sat me down on the toilet seat and said, "George, honey, your father is dead." I will never forget that frightening sentence my mother told me that night. I remember that was my first taste of true grief, and I will always have a bite of it once in a while. The only thing I remember from that part of my childhood was my father's wake. Me, my sister, and my brother were kneeling down, and our mother was patting our shoulders, saying in a shaky voice, "He will always be with us." And then my 3-year-old brother picks up my father's hat and says, "Why is Daddy sleeping?" I felt bad for him because he didn't even know his own father was dead. I looked behind me and I could hear sobs and crying, and I knew all my family was sitting down looking at us, but I couldn't recognize anyone because of the tears in my eyes. We're going to jump 10 years later when I was 15. I was a freshman in high school and I never talked about my father. I was in a class and me and my friend were joking around and he made a joke about my dad. I know he didn't know, so I just told him my father was murdered. No big deal, I mean it was true. After I said that comment, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't realize it, but I had bottled up my emotions up with my father and I never let them go. It really felt like he was dead. I wrote a poem on my computer with non-stop tears coming out. After I did that, it changed my life completely. I had a much stronger appreciation for life. I became more outgoing, and I talked about my father openly, all the time, and by doing so it just felt like he wasn't around. 4 years later, when I was a senior in high school, I was at graduation. Go Tanners! I feel like this is going to get worse, these milestones, without my father being here. This is a section of a journal I wrote after my graduation. I didn't know what to put on my cap, so I looked at the rubber duckies and I saw one of them had a stethoscope, and I knew I wanted to be a doctor or a nurse, so I pinned it in the back of my cap. I needed one more thing, and I knew what it was. I needed a picture of my family. So I peeled off a picture of the 5 of us, including my dad, and I pinned it to my hat without my mom knowing. As I was driving in the car, I was listening to Josh Groban. He raised me up. This song is so emotional and moving that it made me think about my father and how he wasn't going to be there at my graduation, and I started to cry, saying in my head over and over, "My dad should be here, my dad should be here." I went to graduation and listened to everyone, and it was so sad, and I looked up and I saw my mom, Lee, Jeff, Nana, Bill, Leslie, Scotty, and Scott. I was so happy everyone was there. When they called my name up, I honestly didn't know how I was smiling because I had tears in my eyes. Then after we graduated, I felt so proud of myself and so glad that I was moving on. I saw my mom and my sister and then broke down. Broke down and started crying, telling them that Dad should be here. Then after that, the whole family went out to the Port Hill pub and we ate. It was fun, but I was still kind of depressed, and to make it even worse, I got cards filled with money and everyone telling me Dad would be proud of you and he was there. And it just made me even sadder. I was just so sad. My dad should be here. Christmas 2005. On that Christmas Eve, it was a great time. I was with all the family and cousins. We celebrated, ate delicious food, and enjoyed ourselves. I drove home with my mother, and I went to bed. I had a dream that Christmas Eve night. I had dreamed that I was leaving the family party carrying my cousin Trevor to the car with my father walking with us. We were laughing, talking about what we wanted for Christmas, and Trevor said to my dad, "Aren't you dead?" And I looked up at him and quickly corrected and said, "No, Trevor, he's always been with us. He isn't dead." And I looked at my father and he shook his head in agreement, saying, "Yes, I've always been around." I woke up crying. I was in tears because I was happy. I felt that my dad had reassured me that he has always been there and he just wanted to say Merry Christmas. Probably one of the best Christmas presents that I've ever received. This is so unfortunate that a dream, a reassurance that my father is there for me, has to be the best gift I've ever received. And now today. A month ago I had been preparing myself for this day. I've been watching old videos of the family and I when I was younger, and I've watched these periodically and a tear has come out or two, but preparing for this has made it different. I thought about how carefree and happy we all were when he was still around, and it made me feel warm inside. Then I thought about why I was watching these videos and what my purpose was, and that's when it hit me. It was about 3 in the morning. I thought to myself, it is such a tragedy because my father will never come back. I will never get to see him again, and that's when I broke down. Anger and sadness consumed me because he would never come back. I will never get to hug him, never get to kiss him, never get to talk to him, and never get to see him hold my firstborn child. And why? Because of one careless action from another person. Because of some unfortunate change in my future that I had no control over took him away from me. Kevin Wood, I don't hate you, but I'm a little angry with what you did to my father. I'm not going to say that I've totally forgiven you, because you've done nothing to show me that I should. I just want to let you know that your actions have affected me and my family far deeper than you will ever know. The only thing I want from this hearing is for everyone to wake up. Everyone wake up from this nightmare that Kevin has created. I want what my father would want, because you know what? I've woken up. I woke up and I looked at this situation and I felt my father. And you know what he's telling me? He's telling me that I have to be a loving son, to do well in school, to be an honest person, to always put yourself in someone's shoes, to respect everyone, to forgive, to love, to always make people laugh, tell everyone that I'm sorry and that he couldn't make it here, to get his pilot's license for him, and most importantly, to live life's fullest. Even though that he isn't here with me right now in person, he will always be here in my heart. We have to remember that this day is not about Kevin Wood or the murder of my father. The reason why that each and everyone in this room is here today is to remember the life of George Henry Aulson III and for his voice to be heard. We will miss you, Dad.